Welcome into the CHGO White Sox postgame show presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Welcome into Studio A of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. I'm the host of the CHGO White Sox podcast, and alongside me, as always, is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter at Acknerwall23. He's the CHGO White Sox community leader. We will be joined by Vinnie Duber later from Guaranteed Rate Field. He's the CHGO White Sox beat writer. And the White Sox today in their game against the Detroit Tigers won 4-2. They improved to 41-43 on the year. They lose the homestand against Minnesota and Detroit. They went 1-2 against Minnesota. They went 2-2 against Detroit. So disappointing overall, Herb, the homestand. But at least you split with Detroit today.
Yeah, we did the show on Friday, and so we showed how disappointed we were in both the homestand being a loss and also them losing or at least tying the series with Detroit being the maximum they can do this weekend. But after those 2 losses, they sucked it up and won 2 games. That's all we can ask for after that Friday game. Yesterday wasn't aesthetically pleasing, but a W is a W. This team just needs to get wins like 83, win ugly. And I wore the uniforms today, and it was a good, hard-fought late victory for the White Sox. Still have some problems, but hell, we'll take the dub when we can get one.
Yeah, absolutely. And funny enough, Jake's asking about the win 60, lose 60, and what happens with the other 42.
Yeah.
Our guy Jake asking, did the Sox finally win one of the other 42 with Hawk in the building? No less. Yeah, Hawk was apparently at Guaranteed Rate Field. We stopped doing that. After Tony did the whole Trey Turner thing, I stopped counting. I wanted that guy fired. It doesn't matter. Honestly, they're probably going to win 60. They're going to lose 60, and it just depends on if Tony La Russa gets lucky or not. But I don't know. It really didn't feel like that gained a ton of traction outside of Jake.
No, and Joe brings up a good point. Good late game management, too. We both were discussing when Gregory Soto came into the bottom of the 9th inning to face Gavin Sheets. We were like, we actually don't mind Gavin Sheets getting a bat here, even though he struggles versus lefties. But he's been seeing the ball really well. When Tony made the move to AJ Pollock, we're like, hey, that's good, too. And AJ came through for the White Sox there. So I got to credit Tony. I'll shit on him when I think he does poorly. This one worked out famously, and it was the right move. I think it would have been the right move just to keep Gavin in there with the bat he's been swinging today.
Yeah, I thought keeping Gavin in that moment would have been fine, but AJ Pollock came through. You get the result that you want. I'm fine with it. And AJ Pollock against left-handers is hitting like 900. He has an OPS over 900. So, again, it was the smart move right there. I can't get too, it's smart right there. Michael Kopeck started for the White Sox today. He went 5 1/3 inning. I did like going to Jimmy Lambert at the point that he did. I did love going to Lopez and then seeing Lopez, Graveman, and Hendricks. Reynaldo Lopez didn't get paid in the offseason for the White Sox to be a key piece of their bullpen. It was supposed to be Joe Kelly, but now Reynaldo Lopez kind of sliding into those higher leverage, more important roles for the White Sox, and it's paid off hugely. He went no hits allowed, no walks allowed, and struck out 2 in the 3 batters he faced.
Yeah, and I think, as somebody pointed out on Twitter too, I think, yes, he's the next guy behind Graveman and Hendricks, but I would love to see him in a more multiple inning role too. Like there in the 7th inning, he did well. I would want to see him, like maybe if Michael struggled earlier, get him in the 6th inning. If in the future somebody struggles, we need to get a guy in the 5th inning or the 6th inning, go with Raylo for a couple innings because he has the starter experience, and I think he has enough on his arm to go multiple innings for the White Sox. If Joe Kelly's going to struggle like he has this year, what he's got, like a 9+ or 11+ ERA, you only pitch him in those times where the White Sox are losing. That's Tony's MO now. So Raylo is the setup guy, and I'm good with that because I think this is his best role in the major leagues. He'll eventually, for my money, he'll eventually be a closer. Maybe not for the White Sox, but he'll eventually be a top-notch closer.
Yeah, now seeing Carlos Rodon go to San Francisco and continue his success that Ethan Katz helped to build him up, that's a White Sox product. I know that Reynaldo started with the Nationals, but kind of seeing the White Sox turn Reynaldo into this and have Reynaldo, after his LASIK eye surgery, have this much success, it has been huge for the Sox organization, and you'd hope that if he does become a closer or that next-level bullpen arm, that the White Sox can keep him. Because as Steven was mentioning, he's done it with arbitration after this year, or one more year.
So he has one more year of arbitration, then he's a free agent.
One more year left of arbitration, so one more year left of team control for Leonardo Lopez, and then maybe a team goes out and pays him because he iced one of the last Tiger batter he faced with a 100-mile-per-hour fastball on the outside edge. Leonardo Lopez has been great. Let's talk about the way they got back into this game because the White Sox got down early 2-0. Javi Baez hit a home run. Michael Kopech threw 6 straight balls to start off the game. Then threw a fastball high, and Javi Baez was sitting dead red, took it deep, absolutely knew it was gone off the bat. But then Kopech started to settle in a little bit. That was good to see, and we'll talk about Kopech a little bit later. But the White Sox scored runs, and that's what we needed. We saw in that Monday game against Minnesota, it was 2-2. They let it go into extras. They have to use more bullpen arms than they're comfortable with, and they end up losing that game. The White Sox didn't do it right away. It took them to the 5th inning to score their first run off Drew Hutchison. But they got on with a Moncada single to center. Then Leury scored, and that was with 2 outs, so that was a big run. Gavin Sheets hit a homer in the 6th inning, and then in the 8th, like we talked about a little bit, you got Robert, who was safe on a fielding error by Grossman.
Wow.
The ball got turned away by the wind. He had like 400-plus games without making an error, and then the White Sox capitalized on him finally making that error. Abreu was intentionally walked, and then there goes the scenario where Soto comes in, Sheets goes down, Pollock comes in, Pollock singles to right, Jimenez then singled to right as well, making it 4-2 to the White Sox. But, they got down, and they didn't come back right away. It took them a while to build up that momentum, but they got some momentum in the 5th and continued it and closed out the game.
And we're talking about with Kopech, he can't go to the crutch that he has had probably his whole life, a plus fastball, a fastball that no one can hit, where it's up there where 97, 98, 99 miles per hour. Today he was pretty much sitting 92. He got up to about 94 as his maximum, but he was pitching, as Steve was saying, in and out, up and down, making sure that keeping the Tigers batters off balance. That first inning was a disaster. He could not find his release point. The only thing he was getting over for strikes was a slider. Even the ball that Javi Baez hit was a high outside the zone fastball that he absolutely tattooed because Javi's sitting dead red there because he knew he couldn't throw anything else but that fastball up in the zone. And you just, I know Sean was kind of mad that Javi's like, this dude is a bum. Why is he out here showboating and talking about Baez and stuff and talking to the fans? It's like, hey, man, if you hit that ball that hard and you've only hit like 8 home runs this year, you better celebrate because all the rest of the times are going to be bad because he looked terrible at the plate today after that home run. But Kopech kept the team in the game. He didn't have his great stuff. He hasn't had his great stuff for a while. Probably that knee injury is a little bothersome. He got checked out in the middle of the game. I thought that maybe he would be taken down for injury, but Kopech's a battler. He has something wrong with him. We all know that. The miles per hour is down, so it must be dead arm and or that knee that is causing him pain, fatigue, and he doesn't get the drive off of the mound as he used to. But he became a pitcher today. Only 4 strikeouts, limited it to 3 walks, even though he was very wild in the first inning. That's what you need to do as a pitcher who doesn't have his great stuff. And this is probably going to be good for Michael Kopech going forward, knowing that, hey, I don't need that big-time premium fastball to get hitters out in the major leagues. This team came in hot. They had won 5 in a row or 6 in a row. We won yesterday, and then we shut them down today again because I went out there and pitched instead of just threw.
It's important in his development as a starter, 100%. But if Kopeck does have that next level fastball, he also is probably able to go 7 innings this game.
Yeah.
That fastball means a lot to him and turns him into that elite starter the White Sox are hoping for him to be, and that's why he was so effective coming out of the bullpen last year. A lot of people were debating what's wrong with Kopeck, and you mentioned it could be the knee issue that happened against Texas. It was a cyst in his knee that burst, and this has apparently been an issue that he's pitched with his entire life, and that's why the White Sox didn't really falter too much. I think they gave him 6 days of rest, but he still ended up making his scheduled start against Houston, and he's made every scheduled start after that as well. So they really didn't give him a long rest break. I'm not sure if it's dead arm. I'm not sure if it's the knee issue. Jordan Lazowski of Sox on 35th is pretty convinced it's dead arm. Let's look at some of the pitch velocity stuff if we have it, Steven. I want to go to this just because this is Michael Kopech over 2022, and you can kind of see the way that the velocity is dipped up and dipped down. If we don't have it yet, it's fine. All right, well, Steven needs 30 seconds. Today, we'll just go through what he's been doing or what Kopeck was kind of showing, because some people were wondering after the first inning if he started taking off velocity on purpose. On average today, he was down about 2.9 miles, almost 3 total miles down from his average yearly velocity. He was at 92.1. Yearly average velocity is 95. Were you thinking it was more arm, leg, or maybe, he was so wild trying to throw it as hard as he could that he kind of reined it back in and started using more control?
I think it's more arm. Like, he just can't generate the torque that he usually gets. And maybe that coincides because of the knee, and it's his land knee, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not his driving right knee. It's his left knee, right, that had the cyst on it. So probably can't get enough going through because, pitching's mostly lower body, and, he doesn't generate the miles per hour yet. And I think maybe it's a combination of the both. I can't quantify which one cost him more miles per hour, but 3 miles per hour, and they showed it on the NBC Sports Chicago broadcast. It's a full foot that you're getting when you're throwing slower, in that 92 instead of the 95 that he usually throws at. So batters can square those up a little bit more. They're ready for it a little bit more. It doesn't have as much break as the 95 does. You can't react to it. So, yeah, I think it's a combination of the two, and I can't pinpoint which one is causing them more of it. So the All-Star break might be coming at a perfect time for him to get some good rest and just chill out and get his arm and knee back to healthy.
I think he would still have one more start left to make.
He's got one more because the 8 games they have coming up, he has to start one of those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's scheduled right now, the way it's laid out would be Friday, July 15th. So maybe you'll see him then. Maybe they end up skipping him over if they call up Davis Martin. I'd like to see him probably just get rest for the rest of the first half of the season and then have him start post All-Star break because he just hasn't had that same effectiveness. And let's look at the pitch velocity chart over 2022, and you can kind of see how it's ebbed and how it's flowed for Michael Kopech this year. So looking at the list and the graph for the velocity, there we go. So the Yankee one, you could see right there, it pretty much stays normal, and then around 300 pitches, probably around like 375, honestly, closer to 400, it starts dripping off dramatically. That was in the Yankee game where he started throwing around 92 miles per hour, and we're like, all right, what's this issue? I think that might have been a little bit of some dead arm issues, maybe, because then right after that he jumps right back up to 95, and he's kind of sticking around that normal velocity for him. But then you kind of see ever since that it's just been a sharp decline, and I think that bump right there, you see that bump on the right side, that's that Texas start. So after that Texas start, he's been down pretty much below 93,
and not hitting those highs where you could see them hitting the ceiling of the highest velocity pitches that he usually gets. He's not getting close to those.
No, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of Carlos Rodon last year, but not totally. And Jordan Lazowski said it's dead arm like Carlos Rodon experienced. And as you can see, Rodon, it's pretty much around 95. And then after he hits like 1,000 pitches, it falls down and he starts hitting around low to mid 90s. So, Rodon right there kind of shows you what dead arm is like. I don't really see that same trajectory with Kopeck. So I think that this might be a problem that can get better. And I think a lot of it has to do with release points. And it just felt like, especially in the first inning, he was so off. And Steve Stone mentioned it too, that he was just a little bit not tight enough. I think that he was a little bit more forward and a little bit flying open with his pitches. And that's why he ended up throwing more balls. We can look at this in the first inning. This is where his release points were. And you could see there's this box right there. When he was in that box, those were strikes. And if it wasn't perfectly in that box, it was a ball. And that was kind of the issue with Michael Kopech, was the consistency, not having that consistency of his release points. And he wasn't able to find the strike zone completely. But then we'll expand this to the full game. And you could see there's a lot more strikes in the middle of that box. He started to find a little bit of that rhythm with that fastball there. So I think Kopech was able to at least adjust the control concerns. He ended up throwing 12 called strikes today, which it's a great amount right there. You got to load up the strike zone. He was able to do that today. So I'm not sure what the issue is. Maybe we'll hear more from Vinnie Duber later, but I know there was mechanical issues. I think that has to do with the balls and strikes. I think the physical issue is probably something to do with the velocity, right? I think that's what's limiting the velocity, is either the knee or the arm being an issue. I think it's more probably the knee, though, than dead arm, because it was such a drastic drop after that Texas game. It feels like his leg isn't giving them that same drive.
With the 78 pitches 78 innings he's pitched this year, it's by far his most pitches or most innings he's pitched in his 3 seasons that he's pitched in. Remember, this is his first full season of being a Major League Baseball starter. So dead arm does come into factor. He's never done this. This has never been on his arm as a Major League starter. And so how he handles it, that's why I say it's a good thing that he understands, like, sometimes you're not going to have that A-plus fastball. Now pitch. Now enjoy how to pitch the game and find the ways to get hitters out without striking them out. And today he got the job done. The win was kind of a factor. It was blowing out, it was blowing, swirling. So there could have been some home runs hit, more than the Javi Baez one that was a rocket. He settled down and understood, hey, let's just keep the ball in the ballpark, let these guys put bats a ball and get outs, because my defense has been playing solidly behind me. We need to just get outs, and I don't have the thing where I can reach back for another 6 inches and throw this guy a 97-mile-per-hour fastball to blow him away.
Concern level. If you had to put it on 1 to 10, 10 being probably Carlos Rodon in the last half of last year, I was pretty worried about him. And then maybe 1 would be like Lucas Giolito when he was having his issues early on in the year. Where would you have to put him?
4.
4?
Yeah. I'm concerned because whenever you have an injury and it looks like he's playing through it, it's always not a great thing. And the velocity being down, you always worry about that. But he seems to be fine. We'll talk to Vinny. I think he played through some fatigue, some uncomfortableness in his knee today, because we saw a couple of times where he's landing just didn't look right. When he hit the ball, a guy hit the ball to Andrew Vaughn, he wasn't there. I mean, he got there eventually. Andrew pretty much called him off, but he didn't get there on time. And then that's when they came out, I think, in the second inning, just to check on him. Looked like a lot of concern. The trainer came out, Ethan Katz came out, Tony came out. So it looked like a little concern that they saw something that wasn't right about him. And he pitched through that because, he's a tough guy, and he knows the White Sox need his arm instead of going to the bullpen that early. So he got the job done. I'm not too concerned. What about you? You on your scale? I've said I'm a 4. You're a...
I think you're fair. 5 or 4 is about right. I mean,
Fanboy is really concerned.
Yeah, the Showtime fanboy saying a 7. As Steve Stone mentioned too, when you have knee issues, those could lead to arm issues because you're trying to overcorrect or you're trying to overcompensate for not having everything fully. I think that Kopeck probably showed you the way to at least blend those or mesh those. I think he did a good job of not overthrowing and just letting his mechanics do the work. I thought he did a really good job of that today. But if this continues again, we see this on the 15th, let's say if he starts on July 15th against the Twins, if we see this happen again, I would just be like, all right, why didn't you sit him down? Why didn't you give him that extra rest? I think you're getting to a point where he needs extra rest because you haven't seen that extra life on that fastball. You haven't seen 94 consistently from him. I think that's the biggest concern there. I don't know. I would say that we'll talk to Vinnie. It feels like they fixed the mechanic issues, but the velocity issues are still there. So I would say let the inflammation go down if he does have inflammation in his knee and let him come back at 100% because I think Davis Martin can handle some assignment in the next couple days.
Yeah, that's the problem. The White Sox having the 8 games in 7 days coming up, they're going to need Michael Kopech there. They're going to have Davis Martin throw one of those games in the doubleheader. Then you're going to need your rest of your 5 guys in the starting rotation, and then the guys again, 3 more guys to pitch out these 8 games. So Michael Kopech's needed. If he really does have inflammation and other stuff that is wrong with his knee, yeah, I would love for him to sit down. But you're going against a division opponent, especially his scheduled start on Friday versus the Minnesota Twins up there, the weird-ass Minnesota Twins.
Weird-ass Minnesota Twins.
Thank you, CC. They need him to pitch that day if he's ready to go. If there's no other discomfort, nothing coming out of this game where he's more hurt than they assumed, and he comes out of this game with a little bit more inflammation, more knee problems, then yeah, sit him down. But if he's just wear and tear and he's fine after a couple days, has his bullpen, and everybody's like, hey, thumbs up for Friday's start, I'm fine with him going out there and giving an effort. Rusted said he's at a 7 because you think it would be stupid to injure Kopech in July. We're borderline contending for the division, and it's stupid what the White Sox coaches in front office excel in. Sit him, rest him now. So Rusted just wants to have him sit until probably his start in the second half to start versus Cleveland. I don't know. If he is hurt, yes, put him on the IL.
And I understand it, too. I mean, since the 12th, his average fastball velocity has been a 94. It's now down to a 92.9. So he's losing it the more and more he goes. And the more and more that he's away from the injury, it feels like the injury hasn't healed itself. We're basically a month away from this injury. So I understand being up to a 7, especially with the White Sox. It's not like the White Sox have the best track record with health and with, keeping guys healthy, especially with lower body injuries. But they've talked about Kopech having this injury before, Kopech knowing how to play through this injury. So maybe, again, we've heard this with Eloy, how they wanted him to play through that injury and try to figure out how to learn to play through that injury that he just sustained. Maybe that's what they're doing with Kopech here. Maybe they think that he can push it and that he's not going to hurt himself. Kopech must know a lot about his body, and they must trust him a lot to have this faith, though, because he doesn't look great. The results aren't great, and maybe the process is good enough. They know what he's doing before he's pitching, and they like the regimen that he's on, but the results have just been a little bit concerning just because that extra zip is leading him to be hit more. And when he's leading and letting more guys on, it's just going to lead to more clogged bases and possible more damage here. But I don't think that this is a thing that if he pitches on Friday, he might be out for the rest of the year. Like, I don't know if it's that dire.
Yeah, and I was thinking, like, when is Vince Velasquez eligible to come off the IL? And I don't think it's in time because he's a 15-day IL guy. I think he had blisters when he went out. And so that would be a thing where you can probably steal a start there and have Kopech rest without necessarily putting him on the IL. Just skip a start with a veteran pitcher because I'm not too hyped, even though he came in and got the job done. Adam Wainwright, a.k.a. Jimmy Lambert, got the job done today. But I don't know if I want him starting. He's good enough as a reliever, but if you're going to be skipping Kopech start and or ILing him, I don't like the options behind Kopech for these pivotal games you got coming up with the Minnesota Twins and the weird-ass Minnesota Twins and the Guardians.
Real quick, Steven, eCam link to Vinny. I just remembered we did not send that to him. The best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO and you sign up. Not only oh my God, Herb, my bad. I was all over the place.
What?
I'm trying to figure out how to get a better segue into this PointsBet ad here because I got all worried that we didn't have Vinny, the link sent to Vinny. Now I'm kind of like in no man's land here with this read. The best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app. You ask Herb Lawrence for help and use code CHGO when you sign up. If you do that right now, you get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. But that's not it. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from a CHGO locker. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from CHGO locker, all for making more than a $50 first-time deposit at PointsBet. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we will help you out. Javi Baez hit a home run in the first inning, and I won money because of it. A lot of people were booing Javi Baez on the south side this weekend. I was not. I was cheering when he hit that 2-run home run because I won money on PointsBet. It's your home for live in-play betting, and it just got even better. If you see an edge in the game you're watching, if your favorite team is primed for a comeback, don't just watch the game. Bet along with it live. There's more live betting, more live markets, and faster live cash outs with the PointsBet app. You can download the PointsBet app right now and use promo code CHGO and you sign up. So what are you waiting for? It's time to elevate your live betting game. Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral services. And our next partner, has a product that I use literally every day. I used it this morning when I woke up. I started taking AG1s because they sent me these samples when we started working here. They were one of our first partners at CHGO, and honestly, I haven't stopped using them. They sent us the free stuff, and I used all the free stuff, and I started using more of the free stuff, and then I ran out of the free stuff, so I bought my own stuff because this is very good stuff. You might be asking, what is this stuff? With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, and your energy. All of the important things to help you going through your day to have the best day possible. It's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. And Athletic Greens has over 7,002 5-star reviews. It costs less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just one scoop and a cup of water every day. That's it. No needs for millions of different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO Socks. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/CHGO Socks to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. My bad. Thank you guys for putting up with that, because I really didn't know how to get into the read, and then I got out of the read, and now we're out of the read. We're done with it. Now we're waiting for Vinny. But Sox improved to 41-43. They're 4.5 games back in the AL Central. Cleveland lost, and they are 4 games back. Minnesota sits at 47-40. They're on a 3-game losing streak. The White Sox are also clear of the Detroit Tigers. 4.5 games back. The White Sox are first place. Tigers are 10 games back of first place. So now they're on the right side of being on third place. They're closer to first place than they are fourth place, which is good to see.
And yeah, the Minnesota Twins are currently up 6-5 in the top of the 9th inning in Texas. So we're begging for Texas to get a walk-off win here. Get a win so the White Sox can be only 4 games back of the Minnesota Twins and set up a nice series with the Cleveland Guardians, as it's going to be a 4-game set. And 5-game set, right?
5-game set.
5-game set. Playing a doubleheader. So we can leapfrog the Cleveland Guardians.
Nope, 4-game set.
So it's 4-4 then.
Yeah.
So we can leapfrog the Cleveland Guardians.
8 games in 7 days.
And when we start against the Minnesota Twins, we'll be in a battle for first place with them instead of worrying about the Cleveland Guardians.
Hey, you'd hope, but I mean, I don't want this team overlooking things. Let's go to a quote actually from Vinnie Duber's most recent article, because kind of goes into this. I wonder what this team's mindset is. And AJ Pollock explained it as, we don't really know what's going on. And Tony's always saying, well, hopefully they're going to play to the back of the baseball card. We got Vinnie Duber joining us right now. Look at that. And I think even Cease mentioned just like it's really confusing why we've been losing as much as we did. There's a great quote on from Hendricks, but let's go to the guy who wrote the story. Maybe we'll just get more background from him before we read the quote. Vinnie Duber joins us from Guaranteed Rate Field. He is on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. You could follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's the CHGO White Sox beat reporter. And Steven, do we have the new drop for Vinnie whenever he joins?
Very sexy mustache.
Very sexy mustache. Hello, Vinnie.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Very good. White Sox winner. How was the clubhouse after, and who'd you talk to?
They were bumping in there. All of the your regular celebratory hip hop music was playing. We did get a Billy Squier play though. We got the stroke from Billy Squier, so that was exciting to hear post game amid all of the typical young person music. So that was all very good. But yeah, they're celebratory. Obviously 2 in a row. It's the Tigers. And, how many times have we been burned by calling something a turning point before? But 2 really nice days in a row here for the White Sox. Had to love the way the team did. Had to love the way that they won today, coming back. And, really complete opposite of yesterday, where yesterday they poured it on early. Today, really not much offense to be found. Great home run by Gavin Sheets there in the 6th inning, but I think they only had 5 hits before that dropped pop-up there in the 8th inning. And Luis Robert just getting to second base really turned everything around. It's pretty crazy. It's exactly what Liam Hendricks told me yesterday they needed to start doing in order to turn things around. Do the little things, make somebody pay for making a mistake. That's what they did today. And Liam, after the game, talking about how they need to get this mindset that they're better than everybody else, that they can go in and beat everybody.
Let's go.
That's what he was talking about. We'll see if that continues once they play some teams that are ahead of them in the standings. But certainly 2 days against Detroit, it paid off in a big way.
And what did Michael Kopech have to say after the game? Because I contend that this is actually a good thing that he's not having his best stuff and his velocity to fall back on when he has this game where he has to pitch. Gives up the early home run to Javi Baez. I think he had one of his best starts because he didn't have great stuff and he wasn't just blowing people away. What did he have to say about his outing?
Yeah, I mean, I get your point. I think he talked about that, being able to get through some innings when you don't have what you're used to working with, and certainly that's part of learning. That's part of going from being a thrower to being a pitcher, right? Which we always hear from the coaching staff all the time. It is something that he's going to need to do in order to win some games over the course of his career, probably a whole bunch of them. Obviously, more often than not, you'd like to see, if you're the White Sox, Michael Kopech be the guy who can go out and strike out double-digit batters, but on a day like today, they complimented his guts. Tony La Russa did, talking about the kind of guy that can go out there and deliver a winning performance. What do they always say? Give the team a chance to win. Certainly, he did that today with how he was pitching, even though it wasn't how he's used to pitching.
Yeah, so with Kopeck, a lot of people are worried about the knee issue, and people are thinking it also might be an arm issue. We saw in the 2nd inning, they come out after he got off the mound a little awkwardly to try to field the play at first base. And there was also talks in his last start about mechanical issues. So what is currently the diagnosis of Kopeck? Is he dealing with some mechanical issues and also overcoming an injury? Is he just dealing with mechanical issues? Is it an injury causing mechanical issues? Have they given any insight to what's going on with Kopeck?
Well, as you might or might not know, I mean, those things really vary from start to start. Sometimes in the 4 days in between, you're working to fix mechanical issues. Sometimes in the 4 days in between, you're trying to stick to your routine because the last time out was really good, right? So it does vary start to start. I think the team might be a little, I don't want to use the word concerned and scare anybody, but, concerned. They were concerned today in the 2nd inning. That's why they went out there to go talk to him, that the knee might have suffered some on that play that he made. He told them he felt fine. They left him in the game. So, he's obviously healthy enough to pitch. If he wasn't, he'd be on the injured list. But that's probably something that didn't, go all the way away. That's something he says he's not thinking about it when he's out on the mound. And, that's the adrenaline taking over, the competitor in him taking over kind of thing. But it also means that he is thinking about it at some other times. So it's probably not, you're not seeing everything's sunny, 100% Michael Kopech out there, but he's able to pitch and he's able to get the team through a game, and that's the kind of thing that they need out of him right now. They need out of everybody. So,
I thought the at-bat of the game was the Gavin Sheets home run, of course, but because he battled through that whole at-bat and then eventually led to the home run. So Sean and I were discussing when they went to Gregory Soto in the 8th. It's like, actually, I don't too much mind if he stays in hitting the game, but when Tony took him out and put in AJ Pollock, who was very good this year versus lefties, we were like, this is a good move too. AJ comes through right there. What did Tony have to say about that move in particular? And AJ, staying through it because he's had a tough year where he's not playing every day, and then gets the clutch RBI single to put the Sox ahead.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I mean, what were the 2 biggest hits in the game? You had the Gavin Sheets blasting a home run, right, halfway up the seats in the outfield, and then AJ Pollock just dribbling one through the infield. I mean, it goes to show you in baseball, it doesn't really matter what, it matters when sometimes. So, but yeah, Gavin Sheets has looked awesome, really, since coming back from AAA. I think he learned a lot down there, really focused on what he was doing with the coaching staff down there. But we talked to him after the game, and somebody joked, "Hey, are you feeling good enough?" Because he told us how good he was feeling at the plate. Are you feeling good enough that you're going to tell Tony, let me face a lefty? And he laughed and said, you know what, Gregory Soto, maybe not. Maybe be okay with not having to step in against him. So the right move there. And obviously, listen, what does Tony always say when he's explaining a move that didn't go well? The outcome makes the move look bad. Here, outcome makes the move look great because the Sox got what they needed. They got the win today, and that's really what matters there. Sheets, told me in spring training, I can remember all the way back to a conversation we had then, that was, it's about reps. He doesn't think that he is a specialist or a guy who can only face one hand of pitcher, and it's about getting as many reps as you can against both hands of pitcher. That's going to turn you into a guy who can play every day. Right now, though, the White Sox need some left-handed help against right-handed pitchers. That's been well publicized, and he's able to deliver that recently. But you got to make the move. You got to put the guys up there that you're paying to hit in those situations. Pollock was brought in, remember, because he can hit well against lefties. And that's he got the base hit today.
Yeah, 900 OPS for AJ Pollock versus lefties. I think Gavin Sheets' OPS versus right-handers is over 900. So they got a right fielder in those two guys. So they got something working there. So we got some news rolling in. All-Stars have been announced. Tim Anderson is the only All-Star. So I got two questions for you, Vinny, because you weren't on the last podcast we were on. No Dylan Cease, so Tim Anderson's the only All-Star for the Chicago White Sox this year. First off, Dylan Cease not being an All-Star. Is that shocking to you? Your mustache brother, 3 Yankee pitchers end up making it, and I think that Cease is almost like top 5, I think, in strikeouts, ERA, and innings pitched. So is that surprising hearing that Cease is not an All-Star this year?
Rarely am I surprised by that kind of thing. With the All-Star game every year, it always seems like someone's being left off. And I think the idea, what you've got to look at is, did he have an All-Star caliber first half? Absolutely. Does that mean he's better than every single person that made the team? Plus, you've got the roster rules to worry about with every team being represented. You'd have to pour in a little closer to see if that was the case. Dylan Cease was all-star caliber through the first 3+ months of the season. There's no doubt about that. He was the best starting pitcher that the White Sox have, though certainly Johnny Cueto has been impressive as well. But Cease has those numbers, right? Those traditional numbers that get you consideration for things like that. The strikeouts have been incredible, and it's gotten to the point where you're expecting every time he goes out there for him to get 10+ strikeouts, right? So yes. Should there, had Dylan Cease been named to the All-Star team, would have been very, very deserving. I'm not willing to say quite yet that he belongs there over X, Y, and Z because I haven't seen the roster, but certainly he was terrific. And had he been named to the All-Star team, it would have been well-earned, I think.
Absolutely. The other question, too, we saw Tim Anderson be announced. There's a video from inside the clubhouse, Joe McEwing announcing that Tim Anderson was the starter for the All-Star team. And it felt like it was a mild or timid reaction from the team. We were unsure just because we only saw 1 minute and 30 seconds of footage. We didn't know the context before. Maybe they found out on the field that Tim was an All-Star, and then they came in and made the announcement to the whole team and kind of more of an official thing. What did you make of the video if you saw it? And did you see anything? Because I know people also superimposed the 2021 announcement with the 2022 announcement, and the 2021 one was more exciting and lively. Did you make of anything from that video and the vibe in the clubhouse or the timid reaction to Tim Anderson being announced as starter?
Well, I didn't see the video that you mentioned, but I will say this. Tim Anderson was leading in All-Star voting for a couple days leading up. I think that this may be a little bit, I don't want to say an expected outcome, because certainly other good shortstops out there that have big fan bases that like to vote for that kind of thing. Tim Anderson, though, was in the lead when we talked to him, I think a day or two before the voting ended. So maybe the expectation there was that it already happened, or like you said, there could have been plenty of other context left out of those 90 seconds that were posted. I can tell you this, and I'm going to write about this later in this week, be it soon here or in the next couple of days. Tim Anderson is beloved in the White Sox clubhouse. Part of my interview with Liam Hendricks, I asked him about Tim Anderson, and what he said was Tim Anderson has been the guy on this White Sox team who, during 3 months of disappointing and frustrating baseball, has gone around the clubhouse and make sure that everybody's spirits are up, make sure that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, making sure that everybody's on the right page. He said in terms of leadership qualities, Anderson ranks as one of the best players he's ever been around. And of course, Liam is not only a veteran, but has been at numerous stops throughout his career. So some exposure to a number of players who would fit that category. Certainly Tony La Russa never has a bad word to say about TA, always calls him a special player, talks about what he does on the field, what he does off the field. In terms of this team and this team's personality, this entire organization, really, Tim Anderson has been the embodiment of that, and you could call it chicken or egg. I think the organization is probably that way because of Tim Anderson, not the other way around. So certainly no ill vibes when it comes to TA in this clubhouse, and he's a guy that is spoken of very highly. And of course, as we've been saying since this company launched back in March, there is nobody more important on this team probably than TA.
Absolutely.
And the bullpen again, 3 2/3, 4 strikeouts, no walks, giving up no runs there. But I want to focus on Reynaldo Lopez. It looks like he has leapfrogged Joe Kelly. Joe's had a tough year this year, both IL stints and then performance on the field. Did Tony or anybody speak about and your own feeling about this? Did Raylo leapfrog Joe Kelly as the setup guy to the setup guy?
I think that's certainly possible, and Tony did actually talk pregame today about how he is a hot hand and he's earned these opportunities. I don't think you've seen the last of Joe Kelly by any stretch. This is a guy who has not just playoff experience, World Series winning experience, and as much as we've seen the White Sox struggle through the first 3+ months here of the season, I think everybody knows that the players on this roster are capable, we'll see if it actually happens, but are capable of flipping that switch and turning things around. Heck, we've got an example of it in Jose Abreu, who had a very slow first month and is now putting up, the usual Jose Abreu style numbers. That can happen to Joe Kelly too. It's not just because you've seen what you've seen so far doesn't mean that that's going to be the guy that you see for the rest of the year. I believe back in spring training, the first time we talked to him after he was acquired he said something along the lines of, the season's good. What you want to be on is on in October, and it's very possible he has a strong end to the season. And if the White Sox are fortunate enough to make the playoffs, he could play a huge factor in that. But man, Reynaldo Lopez looked excellent today. He's looked excellent a lot of days this season. And I'll share another nugget from another story I'm writing up later this week. Reynaldo Lopez is a guy I talked to today pregame, and he was talking about his relationship with Johnny Cueto. Of course, you guys might or might not know Johnny Cueto is a big proponent of running, a big cardio guy. You'll see him running up and down in the upper deck of the stadium here before games. Not a lot of people who share his love of running. This is baseball after all. You don't need to be moving up and down the court or up the field like some other sports. Reynaldo Lopez, one of those guys who doesn't like to run, but he told me earlier today, when the season started, he was throwing about 94, 95 miles an hour. He started running. Like his buddy Johnny Cueto, who's worked out with for a few years now. Johnny Cueto called him from AAA and said, "Are you running? Are you running? Make sure you're running." Reynaldo said, "Yeah, I'm running." Before long, he's throwing 97, 98, 99, and Johnny Cueto calls him again from AAA and says, "See, told you." So in Johnny Cueto's mind, you start running and you're going to throw harder than you ever did before. And he's got some nice little data to back it up here with Reynaldo Lopez this year, it looks like.
It sounds like Johnny Cueto can be a coach. He's making sure these pitchers are running. He's making sure the hitters are hitting the ball in the air. Johnny Cueto has been one hell of a player for this White Sox team, huh? He's been one influence on that clubhouse.
Absolutely, and that's what the story is going to be about. So hopefully everybody checks in on that later coming up next week. But another nice nugget from Reynaldo that he told me today was Johnny will offer advice to everybody on all the pitchers on how to get a certain guy out, what he's seeing in the game, how you can do it. Throw inside. He tells people all the time. We heard that story from Anaheim where he told the hitters that they got to, put the ball in the air, it'll go out. I asked Reynaldo about that, and he says, yeah, he's always talking to the hitters. And I say, bro, what are you doing? You can't hit. Why are you giving advice on hitting? and Johnny apparently does not react well to that. He likes to go around and give the advice. So we've had Johnny Cueto in the corner of the locker room giving hitting advice to Yohan Moncada and Luis Robert. Take that for what it's worth, but certainly something that's not stopping him being a pitcher from giving advice to absolutely everybody on this team.
Yeah, he's earned it. The final question I got for you, in that TA video that I mentioned, it looks like there's a Randy Moss jersey hanging from Eloy Jimenez's locker room. I don't know if Eloy's just a big Randy Moss guy. Do you have any insight on why the Randy Moss jersey's in the locker room?
It appears to be the new Player of the Game award. I don't know the origins of it, but I can tell you that Eloy got it for coming back and hitting the home run in his first game back. Johnny Cueto got it last night. Michael Kopec had it today. So there you go, the new Player of the Game award. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, my God, why isn't it I'm trying to think of the era. Why isn't it a Marcus Robinson jersey or some Bears wide receiver? But they're going to go ahead and stick with the purple Vikings Randy Moss jersey as the White Sox new Player of the Game award.
Chicago is the place where wide receivers go to die. Musa Muhammad. That shirt you're wearing, I didn't see it. I can't see it fully. Is that Grateful Dead?
Yeah, Grateful Dead.
Yes,
Did you go to the concert?
I did not. That was the weekend. That was the weekend before my wedding, so we had to stay COVID safe that weekend. Obviously, I was up Friday. I was in Milwaukee for Summerfest and saw one of my all-time favorite bands, the Black Crowes. So that was an excellent experience for me to be able to see them live and in person on Friday night up north of the border.
You missed country music night.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shame.
Did they play "She Talks to Angels"?
They did.
It's a great one.
They did.
That's a great song.
It's a good one. I was getting worried that they were going to close with that, and I turned to my buddy. I'm like, do you close with the slow song about heroin addiction? I don't know if that's a very good idea. And thankfully, they had a few more to play after that. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's first set before the encore. You don't want to play that in the encore. People are going home. You got to do that before you come back out. I think there was one more question I wanted to end up asking. Oh wait, so. Did they not give out a player of the game? Because I was trying to go. So Eloy returned on Wednesday, so he got the Randy Moss jersey then. And then Cueto got it on Saturday.
He said Kopec today.
Kopec got it today. So it looks they're missing 2 games. Is it only just when they win they're giving out player of the game?
That could be. Obviously,
Okay.
Friday I was not here, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and guess that these are after wins. I don't know if you want to be the player of a game in a losing effort inside a locker room. So let's get. I don't have that to confirm, but let's just go ahead and say that they handed out after wins. Why not?
They don't put this jersey on, do they? For the post game interviews?
No, I've only seen it hanging up so far.
Oh.
I would love to see Johnny Cueto in a Randy Moss jersey. That is my new dream. So if there's
And
any
you might.
pictures,
He's throwing well enough every time out that he's probably going to get it at least one more time, probably a few more times here. So make sure you keep looking for it and see if they start putting it on.
he's been a wonder. That's Vinnie Duber. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's a CHGO White Sox beat writer. He has a brand new article where he talked to Liam Hendriks on Saturday, and he mentioned the quotes about what this team needs to do to start getting back into it, start dominating teams. What was the exact word he used? It was destroying teams, right? Demolish teams, yeah. So if you want to talk about how Liam Hendriks thinks the White Sox can get back to demolishing team, our guy Vinnie Duber wrote about it at allchgo.com. And if you become a member, you get a free t-shirt along with the access to read all of the great work we have there. So Vinnie, thank you for joining us from Guaranteed Rate Field, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, guys. Have a lovely Sunday.
You too. And I think Vinny will be in studio tomorrow because they're going to Cleveland.
Yeah.
And usually Vinny comes into studio when they're on the road. So hopefully we'll see our guy Vinny in studio tomorrow. That should be fun. We also want to mention that CHGO is brought to you by PointsBet. PointsBet is the best sportsbook out there. It's the fastest sportsbook out there. It's the best live betting sportsbook out there. If you enjoy CHGO, one way to help us continue to grow is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. Not only are you going to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from a CHGO locker. So if you're just looking to become an all-CHGO member after we told you about Vinnie Duber's articles, this is a fantastic deal for you. You put $50 into PointsBet, you get the free CHGO membership, you get to read Vinnie Duber's articles, you get free access into our CHGO lounge. It's a members-only Discord, and you'll get a free shirt of your choice. It's a fantastic deal, $50 with the best sportsbook out there, and you get a free CHGO membership when you use code CHGO when you sign up. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we'll help you out. And in case you missed it, online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. You'll be signing up with the fastest sportsbook easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. So what are you waiting for once the game starts? Don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gaming problem, call 1-800-522-4700. All right, let's go.
I agree, Melissa.
What did Melissa say?
She said after 19 Stadium, Progressive Field is at the bottom.
Yeah, the
It's
Jake
blah.
seems boring.
It's boring as shit. Both those Ohio stadiums are terrible. They're not great. I mean, you're watching baseball, so it's good, but it's not great. I'm going out there in August again.
I heard
to
great.
watch that boring.
At least good things about Good
stadium.
American or Great American.
It's there. Like in the summer, there's no hiding. You're out. If you're in a seat, you're out in the sun and you're baking.
Go in April.
Yeah. Ugh, no. I
right.
see the Reds be bad.
We talked about Vinny's recent article where he talked about Liam Hendriks. So let's pull up the article and let's pull up some quotes from him, because he ended up mentioning, Vinny did, and Liam talked about it, how they needed to turn singles into doubles, and you need to start taking advantage of mistakes, and exactly what happened with Robbie Ghostman making his first ever error, basically in like 400 plus games in the outfield. He finally makes an error. The White Sox take advantage of the mistakes and then get their 41st win of the year. This is what Liam had to say on Saturday. He said, one of the biggest things we need to figure out inside the clubhouse is the mindset. I think a lot of it comes down to that more than anything else. I think everyone else can see the talent. Everyone else can see everything that's going on, but our mindset, our attitude towards being aggressive, trying to do the little things, like if you hit a single to left, all of a sudden you could turn it into a double. If he bobbles it, that's an uplifting thing for your entire team. You fall behind a guy 3-0, you come back and get that guy out. That's uplifting for the entire team. There's certain situations where you can have a very positive impact with the little things that we should be doing anyway. And I think that's one thing we really need to focus on. There's so many different variations of pressure they could be put on the opposition that can completely swing a game. It could be something as little as you don't even score on a single that you turn into a double, but completely changes what else is going on. Okay, how can you do that? I can do that as well. Watch me. And that's something I think we really need to focus on making sure we're doing. So taking advantage of those mistakes, making sure you're not making mistakes like Andrew Vaughn and Darryl Boston had. And I don't know if it was really a mistake, but Andrew Vaughn hits a ball that was really sharply hit towards third base, and the third baseman for the Tigers kind of bobbled it, rushed the throw, threw it over Torkelson's head, and then Jonathan Scope, who's been the best defender in baseball this year, cleanly backed up Torkelson, picked it up, threw it in one motion. It was really fantastic. Threw it to Baez, who got Vaughn out at second. It was a really great defensive play. There was not a single beat missed by the Tigers there, but the White Sox, again, getting out on the base paths, and that's something I think Liam is talking about. They could have had a guy on second right there, or they could have just had a guy on first. Instead, they have nobody on, and they have no runners on, and they didn't score until the fifth inning off Drew Hutchison, of all people.
Yeah, I like aggressiveness if you believe the runner has some speed. Andrew Vaughn, man, that man runs like he has a piano on his back. And as Ed Farmer used to say, and playing it. So maybe Andrew has to think, I cannot run. I'm already way off the baseline. So he went way past first base, as a runner's supposed to do, hit the base and keep on going. But now your angle to second base is a little longer than 90 feet it should be. So, yeah, he should know, okay, I shouldn't go. And Debo should know, man, Andrew's really goddamn slow. We have the best defender in baseball, and Slidey McTaggy over there is going to be catching the ball. So the combination is probably not the greatest there. I know we want to try to force the issue there, but maybe wrong guy, wrong time. I had a slight problem with it. It's not the most egregious thing in the world. It's fine. People can say just being aggressive, sometimes you're going to be out. Sometimes you just need to tip the cap to the other team. But you got to know person, place, time, if that's the right time to go. And, you got thrown out.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move now into the next series. This was a bad homestand, but the White Sox, I think, can still make up for it if they have a good road series, and they've been good on the road this year, Herb. Stephen, if we have this graphic, I'd love to look at the final games remaining for the White Sox. They've played 84 games this year, so they have 78 games left. They have 7 games remaining against playoff caliber teams, the Astros and Padres. They have 27 games left against division contenders, so that's the Twins. They have 13 games left against the Twins 14 games left against the Guardians. Against mediocre teams, they have 9 games left, the Mariners, Rangers, and Angels, even though the Mariners have been playing well as of late. And then they have 37 games against rebuilding teams, the Diamondbacks, Orioles, Rockies, Tigers, Royals, Athletics. As we know, the Orioles are red hot. You could even put them
I'm about to say,
in mediocre or even, playoff caliber at this point. And shout out to Alex Rude, who helped me put this together, and he mostly did all of the work. I don't even know why I'm even taking a slight bit of credit. I just copied and pasted this and then deleted some things. But Herb, when you look at that, you see 37 games against rebuilding teams, 27 against division contenders, 9 games against mediocre teams. This White Sox team should win the division. The Twins aren't scaring me. The only team that really scares me is the Guardians because they can beat us. But this is a great 8-game stretch to prove how fucking good you are. I mean, you're looking at a 4.5-game barrel heading into the All-Star game break against the Twins and Guardians. You're going to have 10 games after the Guardians after the All-Star break. You're going to have 9 games left against the Twins after the All-Star break. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good about the White Sox chances with that. I don't know if they're going to win the division. I said it that they are going to beat it. They are going to be a division winner. But Alex was explaining to me yesterday, not only the White Sox have that record or that schedule, the Twins have a really tough schedule on the back end. For this 8 games versus the Guardians and the Twins, 4-4. That's all I'm looking for. Just stay afloat.
Really?
Yeah, just stay afloat. These are road games versus 2 teams that are above you in the standings. Yes, you would love to win 7-1 or go 8-0. That's not realistic. The White Sox just need to hold their water right now and win the games that they can throughout the season. Take a game at a time. And the Twins did win that game versus the Rangers 6-5 out there in Texas. So the White Sox are currently 5 games behind the Twins, a half a game behind the Guardians going into Cleveland tomorrow. 4-4. That's all I am expecting them to do. If they do better, that'll be a boom for the White Sox. They cannot go below 4-4. Losing ground right now, that just marks another day off the calendar for the Twins and the Guardians. And the White Sox needs to hold ground right now. And then attack these teams and win these games at home when you start the season again after the All-Star break with the Cleveland Indians. Guardians.
You dug yourself a hole, and I think that you have such an opportunity here to dig yourself out of this hole. Mm-hmm. I think going below 500 in this 15-game stretch would be a failure. If they go 4-4 on this road stretch, that would put them at 7-8. That would mean that it's a failure of a stretch right there, and you could just finalize the All-Star break, the first half of this year before the All-Star break, as a failure for the White Sox. If you want to take control of the narrative, if you want to take control of the season, make this an important road stretch. Make this the most important 8 games that you've played all season. Because if you go 5-3, if you go 6-2 even, I mean, that is such a huge lift to this team. If you clean sweep the Minnesota Twins and have a real good series against Cleveland, even go 2-2 against them, it's possible that you could be in first place. Yeah. I mean, this is a stretch where you can put yourself in the driver's seat, say, hey, we just had a horrible first half, and yet we are still in first place. It is right there. The Twins let you hang on. The Guardians let you hang on. Put them in the dust while you can. And we've been talking about this team's a better road team. You're more comfortable. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess you're less comfortable. It makes you more aware that you're playing a professional game and you're going out there to win. But this is so important in my mind, these next 8 games.
I think it's important because you're playing teams in front of you, but I don't put all the eggs in the basket of this series. No matter what, if they go 8-0 still in this series, the first half, and I'll put those in quotes, is a failure. The White Sox are not supposed to be where they are now, and if 8 games better, still is falling short of where they're supposed to be. I think you just have to play a game at a time, and if they figure out that at the end of these games, the 8-game stretch in 7 days, that they are 500, I'm not going to be too mad, depending on how the games went. You know what I mean? Like, if the White Sox had leads in all 8 of those games and blew 4 of them, I'm like, that's not great, White Sox. But these are tough teams, too. I mean, I put those in quotes. Tough teams, too, especially for the White Sox. They've only beat them, 3 times this year total? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's going to be a real tough stretch of games for the White Sox. I'm just expecting them to hold water, and you have plenty of games to catch up with them, play those teams. And as many people have said, and you said in the when the description there's the Orioles probably no longer rebuilding. We saw them here. They look good. They look real good, real young, hungry, and ready to attack. Now they've won 8 games in a row. So luckily we're going to the Orioles, I think, in the middle of August. So not playing that hot-ass team right now. But, yeah, just go 500 versus these teams and be in the competition after the All-Star break to get some games.
I know Minnesota has the White Sox still have 9 games against Minnesota in September, and they have 6 of their last 9 games of the season against Minnesota. So they'll still have the chance to even come back in this division late in the year. But I have a feeling that would feel good if you finish or closer and you have like a 2-game separation between you and first place, and you still have a negative run differential. You got to look and just be like, all right, we still can put this together. I mean, I don't know. This team is frustrating. I understand people's frustration, but if Minnesota loses 2 against the Brewers and you take care of business in their place, you're definitely going to put a lot of pressure on that team. That team's injured. That team doesn't have a ton of pitching. You still have pitching. You still have hitting. Since June 9th, the White Sox have scored 5.6 runs per game, and they're 14-15. So if the pitching comes along or if the pitching rounds out into shape, this White Sox team can still win the division. It's pretty clear to me, and they still have an easy route. I understand that we've been saying that it's still been easy in June, but it's still possible for the White Sox to take control of this thing, and I think they could still do it even before the All-Star game. But that's going to do it for the CHGO White Sox podcast today. We got one final thing, and it is the Colson Montgomery on base streak. He's the 93rd prospect on the MLB's top 100 prospect list, and he has gotten on base in 45 straight games. He got promoted to single A after being in low A, so these are kind of mixed between Kannapolis and Winston-Salem. Batting average in those 45 games, 349, 455, 454, sorry, 349, 454, 509. He's got 9 doubles, 1 triple, 5 homers, and 28 walks in those games. He's been incredible, Herb.
Yeah, and I love to see that progression. Like, this is first major league or his first professional season, full season, and he's having no problem with low A, and now going up to high A. He's like, this is nothing special either. I would love for the White Sox just to have him go this whole year as a single A player, and then if he progresses to double A next year, full year, all the full year, because he's still young. He was drafted out of high school, so I don't want them to rush him. I don't want him to come up after next year or the year after. I want them to give him a representative amount of at-bats down in the minor leagues, and if he dominates down in the minor leagues and he is forcing the issue, cool, bring him up. But it's good to see him having a great start to his career, his professional career. Good to be in the top 100. White Sox, the only guy in the top 100 for the White Sox prospects. Now, of course, we're in this championship window. Do the White Sox dare move a guy like Colson Montgomery? Because people will be asking if the White Sox are looking for acquiring a player at the trade deadline.
They definitely shouldn't. I think he might be playing himself into Andrew Vaughn territory, where you just keep a guy when he's in your system like that. I don't know. I think he's easily the guy that I would like to protect the most. Colas is like 24 years old. Cespedes is older. This is the guy that has the perfect blend. He's athletic, he's young, he's healthy. I see no reason to move on from him. He's a left-handed hitting shortstop. Like, oh, baby, come on.
His name is Colin with the White Sox.
Yes,
apparently.
If you go to Guaranteed Rate Field, his name's Colin, not Colson. But, yeah, I'd love to see him in a White Sox uniform. I'd love to see a lefty, and especially a lefty that could play the infield. That stuff's fantastic. And, Jake Berger, you can move on from him. Even Jared Kelly. Like, there's not a lot of prospects that I would be truly hurt if the White Sox moved, which I know is always your theory when making moves. You got to make it hurt, or something has to be going to really make it an important trade. I think Colson's the only guy I'd protect in this White Sox farm system. Anyone else that goes, I'm pretty fine with it. I know Norge Vera has been good as well, but truly, Colson Montgomery looks like he's got everything that you want in a Major League Baseball player, and he's been really incredible down in Single A. this year. We'll be with you tomorrow. We will have a pre and post game for you. I believe the game starts, since it is a Cleveland game, I think it starts at 6:30. So I think we're pre-gaming at
No, it's 5.
6.
It's a 6.
So 6:10 start.
6:10 start. So
We'll
it's
be
5:30 pregame. So 5:30 pregame show tomorrow. We'll have a postgame show for you after the final out is made. Lance Lynn's going to be on the bump, and we'll see how the big bastard does in his start. It's been a little shaky for Lance
You know
this
who's on
year.
the bump for the Cleveland Guardians?
Who's on the bump?
Cal Quantrill.
Oh, that's
Who I
fine.
told you we're going to smoke. And then Tristan McKenzie, we're going to smoke.
We got Shane Bieber in this series?
I believe so. I saw Savale. They don't have the starters for the Wednesday doubleheader yet.
Yeah.
But I think, the Tuesday doubleheader, the Wednesday starter, it has listed as Savale. So I would think that Bieber would be one of those games.
I hope they miss Bieber.
Hopefully it's Tristan McKenzie
If
in
they
one of
don't,
the other games.
if they don't miss Shane Bieber, they're gonna get their ass
Equals that
struck
ball.
out 10 times. But that's going to do it for the CHGO
Wait, the
White
Tigers
Sox
beat
postgame show.
Bieber the last game they played to win their 4 game in a row versus the Guardians. So that would have been Thursday. Bieber's going to have to pitch versus the White Sox.
Yay! They'll lose that one. Other than that, they better go 7-1.
Tigers beat them. F that. We're going to beat Shane Bieber.
The Tigers are clearly better than the White Sox. They just came into their crib and did that to them. I wasn't expecting them to split the series with the Tigers. Pretty
Either.
disappointed by that. And now, again, you could have taken advantage of this. You're playing a team that is 10 games back out in the division. If you went 3-1 against them, you could have gone maybe 4-4 against the Guardians and Twins. But I feel like you got to have a winning record in these next 8 games to make to really put a nice cap, right? Put a nice cap on this first half. But we'll see. We'll join you tomorrow for the pregame show starting at 5:30. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. We were joined by Vinnie Duber out from Guaranteed Rate Field. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. And you can follow the show on Twitter at CHGO_White Sox. We appreciate everyone for hanging out with us in the YouTube chat. We appreciate everyone listening on their ride into work today, maybe your ride home on Sunday, maybe going to work on Monday. We appreciate all of you listeners, and if you guys can give a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're on, we would appreciate it. Thank you to Fleetwood Mac for their 1979 album Tusk, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Go White Sox.